Ooh, is this episode 4? What's up, guys? Ryan with Athix Fitness here again. Welcome back. We're doing episode 4, Vegan Fitness 101. Plant-based eating for all you skinny bastards out there who want to gain weight, want to put on muscle, want to bulk up, get jacked, whatever you want to say. So today we're going to be talking about what you need to eat, what you need to do to bulk up, get big on a vegan diet if you're too skinny, if you're not happy with that. So first of all, watch the other episodes. Watch all the other episodes. What are you doing? If you're not already watching the other episodes, go watch them. We did an overview of what you need to know for nutrition basics, programming basics. Both of those are very important for everything we're going to talk about today. So go watch those first, then come back here. I'll be waiting. I'll be here. Don't worry.
I'll never let go. I promise.
So I'm going to assume that you already watched those. You're already training properly. You're already doing your programming properly. You're following a good program, and you know your maintenance calories. So on top of knowing your maintenance calories, if you know you need to bulk up, you know you need to put on weight, and you're not just recomping anymore, you're going to want to first of all bump up your calories to about 250 calories to start off with. That initial bump, let's say your maintenance is 3,000 calories, you're maintaining the same body weight that you were with 3,000 calories every day for a couple weeks, and you want to keep gaining weight, you want to keep putting on muscle. Start by putting 250 calories on your daily goal. So start eating 3,250 every single day. So after you added the 250 calories, keep tracking your progress, weigh yourself, take your measurements, whatever you usually do, and you should start trending up over time. That extra 250 calories, if it's working, you're going to start trending up in body weight, trending up in muscle again. You might start looking a little bigger. That's what you want. If that's not happening, then keep adding 100 calories to your daily goal weekly. Don't do it more often than that just because it takes some time for things to kick in and start going properly. So give it a week, I would say, every time before you bump 100 calories up again. 250 calories from your maintenance might not actually be enough to make you gain weight. It depends on who you are. There's a lot of individuality here. So after that initial bump, add the other 100 calories. If you're still not gaining weight on 350 calories, then the week after, add another 100. At that point, you're going to start gaining weight. If you keep adding calories, you're going to keep gaining weight eventually. Your maintenance, like depending on who you are, it may be more stubborn. You may have more flexibility. But that's the basics you need to know there. You can go by body weight on a scale. I think that's one of my favorite measurements. So if your body weight's trending up over time, you know that you're gaining weight. If you're taking your measurements, like arm measurements, waist measurements, that gives you a good idea. If you're putting muscle on the right areas, if your chest is getting bigger, your waist is staying the same size, that's a great sign. That's not going to keep happening the longer you've been training for. You're likely going to put on weight everywhere. So if your chest gets bigger, your waist is probably going to get bigger too. But if you're newer to lifting and you're putting on muscle in the right areas and your bulk is going very well, a good lean bulk, then your goal is to minimize your waist size, minimize chest, bicep, leg size, things like that. So that's a good way to know if you're trending in the right direction. So bulking, first of all, can be very difficult for hard gainers. I want to stress this fact that a lot of people do not want to eat as many calories as they need to gain weight. It's just not easy for a lot of people. So if you're the skinny guy all through high school, like college, whatever, and you just always had a naturally lower appetite, it's not going to be easy for you to gain this weight. To really force yourself to gain more strength and gain more weight, a lot of times you have to force feed, and it can be difficult. So that's something you need to know. It's not necessarily easy to eat more. For a lot of you guys who are out there, mad at their computer screen right now because they gain unwanted fat just from adding one extra little snack per day. Trust me, it's not easy eating 4,000, 5,000 calories a day to really force yourself to gain weight. People who are younger, in particular, they have faster metabolisms, they're probably more active, things like that. They're more resistant to weight gain a lot. So, they might have to be pushing their calories up to 5,000 or so, and it's not easy eating that much. So we're gonna go over some tips and tricks to help get in calories without feeling too full a little later on. If you're not already counting calories, when you're getting a little more advanced and you're starting to consider serious bulks and cuts, it's important to start calorie counting, in my opinion. Not necessarily necessary, but it eliminates a variable. You know exactly how many calories you're getting per day. Calories are going to be the king here. It pretty much determines if you gain or lose weight in a lot of cases. I would actually go more by calories than macros overall in terms of building size or losing weight. But that's another topic for later. So macros, that's going to be something that is, pretty important for all this. You're going to want to have your protein somewhat high, but when you're bulking and you're eating a lot of carbohydrates and fat and everything else, it's actually not as important as you think. Even on a plant-based diet, I would say 0.8 grams per pound of body weight is plenty. You really don't have to go up to 1 gram, especially if you're bulking. It's really just not necessarily. You have so many other calories coming in. Your body's in a surplus. It's not necessary. You could probably keep your protein as low as 0.6 grams per pound of body weight, and that would probably be fine. But if you really want to maximize progress on a bulk, I would go for around 0.8. Cutting is different, but in this case, we're talking about bulking, so 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, around there is recommended. You can go higher if you want. You can go a little lower. It's probably not going to hurt you that much. In terms of fat, I would say about 25% of your total macros, give or take 20-30%. Your goal is to gain weight. Fat is the most dense in calories overall, so that's why things like oils and such, it's so easy to just eat a lot of that, and there's a lot of calories there. Processed oils and such, it's not necessarily healthy. That's another debate for another time, but I don't think it's healthy. But it's very, very easy to get a lot of energy off that, a lot of calories. That's an easy way to do it. But anyways, 25-30% fat, something like that, 20% for protein, and the rest carbs. That's what I would suggest. Calories are king, like I said earlier, though, so don't stress it too much. Just try to get enough protein, try to get a certain range of fat, and you're good. If you eat too low in fat, that could affect your hormones. Going too high in fat would subtract from carbs, and I would like to add more carbs overall to a good, well-planned diet for lifting. It's kind of arguing semantics. We'll get into that more in advanced nutrition later, but just to start you off there with some foundations. Don't rely on junk food when you're bulking. Don't just be like, oh great, I'm bulking, I can eat a ton of ice cream and Fruity Pebbles or whatever the fuck you want to eat. You don't necessarily do that. It's just not going to be good for you.
I eat because I'm unhappy. And I'm unhappy because I eat.
Try to get in healthy foods. And I'll talk about some strategies for that too, because a lot of healthier foods are more filling. Try to get in your micronutrients. Don't just go on potato chip and ice cream diet, because technically it'll work to put on mass, especially if you're working out, your programming's on point, but it's not going to be healthy in the long term. And bulking inherently is not going to be great for you, so do it in the best way possible. Do it with eating a lot of vegetables and fruit. That'll keep your blood pressure lower and your other blood markers more in check overall. Gaining weight, eating more calories probably will negatively affect your blood markers in the short term while you're doing it, at least to an extent. If you're older than probably 40 years old, do not do like a crazy dreamer bulk or anything. A lean bulk is probably okay for older people, but just realize that like it's not the healthiest thing to force feed yourself a ton of calories. And I would say for most people out there watching this, try to stick to a lean bulk. You're probably not going to want to let your bulks get out of hand and get too fat. Keep that in check. I think everyone who's been lifting for a long time has done a dreamer bulk, at least with hopes of getting super jacked super quickly, but it's just not how it works. This stuff takes years, so don't necessarily rush it. Try to do it in the best way possible. Liquid calories are my favorite thing while bulking, trying to get your calories up high. Smoothies in particular, great way for getting in a ton of micronutrients, a ton of calories without feeling too full necessarily. One of my favorite things is adding a bunch of stuff into a smoothie and just sipping on it the whole morning for a couple hours. It doesn't fill you up that much, and it's great for you. It can contain a lot of protein if you put some protein powder in, get a lot of fruit and vegetables out of the way if you put vegetables into, like spinach or something. So I personally love that. Also juice, things like that. If you really can't get enough calories in, drinking juice, caloric beverages like that. You could argue how healthy that is too, but in terms of bulking, if you're really having trouble getting the calories in, that can be something you can do. Other bulking foods that I really like: peanut butter, nuts, cereal, pastas, things like that. Normally things that are pretty satiable that you really enjoy eating and can eat a lot of. I have a huge appetite personally, and I think that for most of you, once you build a good amount of muscle, your appetite is going to go up. That's just kind of how it goes. Everyone that I've talked to, this is kind of like bro science, but everyone that I've talked to who has been lifting for a long time has a very big appetite. And I think that has to do with just your body trying to fuel that extra mass that you have on you. If you have a smaller appetite, just consider liquid calories especially, but some of these things over here can be very helpful. I can personally eat like a box of cereal in a sitting if I really want to. It's delicious, so I'm assuming a lot of you guys watching this would probably do that too. So I wrote up an example meal plan for people trying to bulk up, 4,000 calories, don't jump to 4,000 calories if you're only eating 2,800 to maintain. Like I said, add 250, then 100 calories or so every week after that if you're not bulking. So this is just an example for someone who needs to eat 4,000 calories. Don't necessarily follow this. Meal 1, I wrote a smoothie, and I would include something like oat milk that has more calories. It's just a little more calorically dense than something like almond milk. Almond milk is like 30 calories. Oat milk can be like 130 or so. So consider higher calorie foods like that. One scoop of protein powder, you can do 2 if you want to. Protein, like I said, you can keep it a tiny bit lower on a bulk just because you have other energy coming in. A banana, frozen strawberries, peanut butter, oats, and hemp and flax seeds for your omegas, just more general calories. So that right there would come out to about 1,200 calories. That's a great option to start your day off without feeling, really full. So if you were to eat 1,200 calories like in raw vegetables or something, obviously like no one would do that, but you would feel so full that you couldn't do it. These liquid calories, because they're all blended up and everything, you can just drink it. It's not going to be as filling. You can get into the calories a lot easier. So I highly recommend that. So meal 2, I have up here a stir fry. That's going to be tempeh, rice, or farro. I prefer farro actually because it's higher in calories, higher in protein overall, and it's a little bit easier to eat more of. Beans, nuts, and mixed vegetables. And that would come out to about 800 calories, assuming you're using about a serving or 2 of each. Tempeh is a great higher calorie source, and it's more of a whole food, so a lot of micronutrients in there that are really good for you. Lean towards brown rice if you can. Obviously, a 4,000 calorie diet with a lot of fiber can be a lot for a lot of people, so a plant-based diet with this much fiber, you have to kind of eat into it over time if you're not used to that much, if your gut microbiota isn't ready to handle that much fiber. So just keep that in mind. Meal 3 here, I wrote pasta, and that's you can do a half a box of pasta. A full box is like $1.50, $1 sometimes. So very cheap food. Eat a half box pasta, 800 calories right there. Throw in some seitan, a serving or 2, 100, 200 calories, 20, 40 grams of protein right there. Some sauce, which you could do, a marinara sauce or a crushed tomato. Crushed tomato has like 60 calories for a few servings. Marinara sauce can be up to like 200 calories for a couple servings. So there's a big difference there because of oil and sugar content and stuff if you buy it pre-made. Something to consider. And throw in some mixed vegetables, and that'll be about 1,200 calories. So meal 4, you can do apples and peanut butter. It's about 400 calories. That's pretty self-explanatory there. A serving and a half of peanut butter or so, and like an apple. For a snack, I like complete cookies for bulking. They're a vegan cookie, like a snack that has a little bit of protein added in there. So that's about 400 calories. They're great for bulking. They don't fill you up too much because they're pretty processed. Not a health food, like I said, but when you're bulking, eating that much, sometimes you need to throw in something in there. And as long as you're eating mostly nutrient-dense foods, then I think it's okay to have a little bit of junk here and there. So the total for this meal plan would be about 4,000 calories and around 185 grams of protein. So that, I think, would be a great plan for someone eating 4,000 calories. You can take and pick and choose a little bit out of there as you want to, but that's just an example. So I hope for any of you guys watching this right now on a plant-based diet who are struggling to gain weight, learned a little bit from some techniques here for putting on mass. Next episode, we're going to talk about cutting, but if you guys have any questions or anything, write them in the comments below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. That really, really helps me and helps to reach more people out there to get on a plant-based diet and consider, trying to get big and fit and pursue their fitness dreams on a plant-based diet. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, episode 5. All right, peace out.